84. The unintentional prank, Lavanya's POV. That's so rude of you, Ruhi. I snapped, frustrated. I'm not defending him because I'm in love with him. I'm defending him because he's not the kind of person you think he is. Whatever, she muttered, rolling her eyes. She turned towards the door and yanked it open and froze. Standing right there was Mr. Dawson, looking awkward, like someone who'd walked into a conversation he wasn't meant to hear. He was eavesdropping, Rui cried, turning to me as though she'd uncovered a crime. He was listening to our private ladies-only conversation. See, this is what I was talking about. That's bullshit, Jackie snapped, stepping inside. I was here to pick up Lavanya. That's all. Oh, really? Ruhi sneered. I know you better than you think. And I know you better than you think, he countered, eyes locked with hers, his jaw tense. Good for you. You should know me. And watch your step. She folded her arms. Believe me, I've been watching since day one, he replied, jaw clenched, voice cold as steel. Stop it, stop it, stop it. What is wrong with you two? I interjected into their intense conversation. They were sounding like two deadly snakes hissing at each other. Both of you are acting like wild cats. Now stop talking and move, I ordered. After a few seconds of glaring at each other, Mr. Dawson took 2 steps back, making way for us, and tapping her foot loudly, Ruhi walked out of my cabin. I exhaled loudly, already fed up with their fiery words. Can we go now? Mr. Dawson asked, avoiding my gaze. Without saying a word, I walked out of my cabin, slinging the strap of my bag over my shoulder. You said I'm not that bad, so you think I'm not good enough? He complained. Don't you get started with me now because I'm not in the mood to discuss all these stupid things right now. I was really annoyed. After that, he didn't speak a word and drove silently. Somewhere deep inside, I felt guilty for not showing him a little bit of love. I glanced at him many times. He kept getting caught, since he too was glancing at me every minute. Though he tried really hard to look away and act as if he was angry and hurt, his cuteness was enough for me to melt again within minutes. Okay, smile now. I'm sorry. I didn't mean it that way. I just can't make Rui understand what you really are. You know how stubborn she is. Can't argue with her all the time, I explained. Me neither, he agreed, still not looking at me. Mr. Dawson, I addressed softly. He looked at me. Yes, Miss Verma? I really love you the way you are. Never change. You are everything to me now. Always be this person, I requested. A curve appeared on his lips. Always. Only for you. After dinner, I went to my room, saying goodnight to my parents. While I sat in front of the mirror and undid my hair, my eyes landed on the unique tiny Taj Mahal gifted by Mr. Dawson. I remembered that date and the evening at the park. I wish all our days and nights could feel like that, every day, till we are here in this world. May our present and future be filled with love and happiness. I blushed and smiled, looking at myself in the mirror, lost in thoughts of a romantic journey with him. I went to bed and lay down. Just as I was about to close my eyes, my phone vibrated on the side table. I checked the screen and saw Mr. Dawson's text. Soon we'll be giving goodnight kisses to each other every night. My eyes widened and blood rushed to my cheeks. I texted back playfully, bowed and much more. Within seconds, another message popped up. That doesn't sound like my girl. Who are you? His reply made me chuckle. I know you'll be confused by my message, Mr. Dawson. That's the best way to tease and trick you. Then came another text. Who's that? Where is Lavanya? I could feel the panic in his words, so I decided to mess with him a little more. Smirking and giggling, I typed, She is with me. If you want her back, you'll have to pay me 25 million rupees. His reply came in a flash. Bloody hell, bastard. Who are you? How dare you touch her? I'll kill her. I burst out laughing and was just about to send him a cheeky message to scare him more when his call came in. The phone vibrated relentlessly. I rejected it, but he called again, and again, and again. He was calling so many times I didn't even have the chance to finish typing my next message. Suddenly, I heard a loud knock on the front door, and then the bell rang. I jumped off my bed startled. Who's that? I opened my bedroom door slightly and saw my father walking towards the main door. He opened it, and my jaw dropped. I ducked back immediately, peeking from behind the half-closed door. You? Daddy adjusted his glasses, staring at the man. What are you doing here at this hour, Mr. Dawson? Is everything okay? Oh God, I'm so dead. What do I do now? This man is completely mad. Lavanya's phone, he is not picking up. Jackie sir blurted out, clearly distressed. I bit my thumb nervously. He? Who? Daddy asked, confused. The guy who took her, he exclaimed. Took her? Who, where? Daddy asked again, clearly baffled. I texted her, but she didn't reply. Some strange guy responded and asked for money. I think she's been kidnapped. I called her so many times, but the kidnapper kept rejecting the calls. He didn't let me speak to her. I slapped my forehead. Oh God, what have I done? Please leave, Mr. Dawson. Just go. Beta, I think... you saw a nightmare? Daddy said, trying to reason with him. No, sir, absolutely not. Look, I'm still calling her, but she's not answering. He held out his phone, showing my father as my own phone vibrated on my bed. That's because she's sleeping, Daddy explained calmly, while I crouched even lower behind the door. Where is she? I want to see her right now, Jackie demanded. That caught Daddy off guard. It was clearly awkward for him to hear a young man asking to see his daughter in the middle of the night. Mr. Dawson, have you checked the time? Daddy asked, raising an eyebrow. I know, I'm sorry, but can you please check on her? For me, he pleaded. Taking a moment, my father finally agreed with a sigh. Before he turned and started walking towards my room, I rushed to my bed and lay down, pretending to be asleep. A few seconds later, I heard his voice close by. Lavanya? I kept my eyes shut, trying to convince him I was genuinely asleep. His loud sigh made my heart race. Lavanya, I know you're not sleeping. Your door was open and your eyeballs are moving under your eyelids. Busted. I slowly opened one eye, then the other. He shrugged and asked, What is going on? I sat up, lowering my head in guilt. Now, will you tell me? Mr. Dawson is waiting at the door? He whispered. Daddy, I was just joking, I confessed. Joking? Meaning? He frowned, confused. I gulped and tried to explain. Meaning? He texted me and I pretended to be someone else. Then he thought someone had taken my phone, got scared, and I acted like a kidnapper. And instead of scolding me, Daddy burst out laughing. I blinked at him in disbelief. He's laughing? Really? Nice one, nice one. He chuckled. Daddy! He didn't stop, just kept giggling. Daddy! I shook him, whispering loudly. He looked at me, still grinning like a teenager. He's waiting outside, I reminded him. Oh yes, yes, he nodded. But what should I say to him now? How would I know? That's why I told you. You have to help me, Daddy, please. Okay, let me think. We don't have that much time, I said, getting impatient. And right on cue, we heard Mr. Dawson's voice from outside. Mr. Verma, are you there? What happened? Is everything all right? Is she there? Go, Daddy. Please go or Mama will wake up. I whispered urgently. Going, he whispered back and left my room. I followed him to the door, staying hidden behind it to listen. Mr. Verma, did you find her? Mr. Dawson asked the moment he saw my father. Well, she's in there, but I couldn't find her phone. Maybe she dropped it somewhere, Daddy said, and I rolled my eyes behind the door. You sure? Jackie sir asked, brows furrowed. Yes, I think so. Maybe someone found it and played a prank when you texted. But he demanded money. Jackie was clearly trying to make sense of it all. He must have been joking with you, Daddy said with a nervous laugh. May I please see her once? I'm just worried whether she's okay or not. And then, silence. I couldn't see what Daddy did. Did he give him the look? After a moment, Jackie said, it's okay. I'm sorry. I should be going now. Please take care of her. Then I heard the door close. I walked out to my father and whispered through gritted teeth. I dropped my phone. Someone took it and joked with Mr. Dawson. Seriously? He shrugged innocently. What else was I supposed to say? I don't know. Something better than that at least. Like what? He asked, planting his hands on his hips. Like, I don't know. I frowned, flustered. Exactly. You don't know. You created this mess. You were already in trouble. I saved you. Thank me. You saved me? How? What am I going to say when he sees the phone in my hands again? I don't know. I saved you for now. From here on, it's your problem. Good night, he declared, walking off into his room like a hero from a flop film. My jaw dropped. Seriously? I huffed, tapped my foot dramatically, and stormed back into my room. Next morning, at breakfast, I sat at the table spinning my chapati in circles, pretending it was a steering wheel, while internally panicking about what to say to Mr. Dawson. Why aren't you eating? Isn't it good? Mama asked. Huh? No, it's good. I'm just not that hungry, I said, throwing a quick glance at Daddy. Let me bring some pickle. It'll taste better, she said, getting up. The moment she disappeared into the kitchen, Daddy leaned over the table. Lavanya, he whispered. I looked at him, then turned away dramatically with a sulk. Typical me. Listen to me. I have an idea, he whispered louder this time. That caught my attention. Still pretending to be indifferent, I asked, What? You give me your phone. I'll say some guy found it and returned it to me. When I threatened to inform the police, he got scared and couriered it back to us. I'll say this in front of Dawson so he won't suspect anything. Brilliant. Why didn't I trust this man more? Who won't suspect what? Mama's voice suddenly pierced the moment, making us both jolt in our seats. Nothing, Daddy mumbled, quickly stuffing a bite into his mouth. What's going on between the two of you now? She squinted. Nothing, Mama. I shook my head like an innocent school kid. Her boss, Daddy blurted, and I shot him a glare. Her boss, Jackie Dawson? Mama asked, eyeing us both suspiciously. Yes, Mr. Dawson. He won't have doubts if we talk openly to his mother about the marriage. We'll, have discussions in front of him so he knows we're honest. What? I stared at him like he'd grown antlers. Mama tilted her head in complete confusion. That way, he'll trust us more, he added, clearly digging his own grave now. Mama just nodded with a fake smile. The classic, I don't have the energy for this nod. Bless her soul for not digging further. Later that morning, I stepped out and found Mr. Dawson parked outside waiting in his car. I got in and greeted him. "Good morning, sir." "Good morning, love," he replied with that charming smile. "You're okay, right?" Yes. Why?" I asked, trying not to meet his eyes. Lying to him was like playing Jenga on a bumpy road. "No reason. You were already asleep when I texted you last night. I couldn't reach you. Where did you leave your phone?" "Crap. Here it comes." I don't know. I haven't found it since yesterday evening," I replied, heart pounding. "Thank God," he said with a sigh of relief. "Huh?" I blinked at him. "Well, I mean, it was a very old phone. I'll buy you the latest one." "Oh, no. I waved my hands quickly. "Hey, I'll find it soon." "What?" He looked confused. I mean, I have to find mine first. It has all my data. I need to retrieve that before anything." I lied smoothly, mentally high-fiving myself for the recovery. He nodded, still suspicious, but didn't press further. "No, it's not. You've lost it somewhere. Some guy found it and he texted me. Some weird things." He looked embarrassed. I wanted to laugh, but I controlled myself. "Really? What kind of weird things?" I asked. No, just random things. I'll buy you a new one." "Let's wait a few days," I requested, and he slowly nodded. As usual, we went to our respective offices and started working. We had lunch together, then came back. The next day, while I was walking towards Mr. Dawson's car, Daddy called out to me. "Lavanya beta." I turned, and Mr. Dawson looked at him too. "Beta, I'd forgotten to give you your phone," he said, winking at me secretly. I blinked rapidly, feeling awkward. "Phone?" I heard Mr. Dawson's voice behind me as he came and stood beside me. Daddy chuckled. Yes, she had left it somewhere. A guy found it and gave it back to me." He nodded with a grin and added, but not before I shouted at him. He got scared, apologized, and then couriered it to me. He pointed at the phone now in my hand. I was a little nervous about getting caught. It was obvious my father was making the whole thing up. I kept glancing at Mr. Dawson. He looked doubtful too. Aren't we getting late?" I interrupted. Daddy chuckled again, and Mr. Dawson nodded, though his expression was still unsure.
Jackie's POV. How is that even possible? My mind kept asking. I have no idea what is going on. The other night I tracked her number and it showed up somewhere inside the community. The location clearly pointed there. Was the man who had her phone from the D. Dawson staff quarters? Who could that person be? He dared to joke with me as a kidnapper. I'm going to find you, Mr. Smartass. By hook or by crook. I promised myself I wouldn't let this slide so easily. I had to see the person who dared to steal her phone and pull such a ridiculous stunt. Later that evening, I got a call from Mom. I'm at the airport, Jackie. I'll be there tomorrow morning, she said. Yeah, I'll come get you, I replied. No, you don't have to, she rushed to say. Mom, you know nothing about India or their taxi system. I'm bringing my car, I warned. What do you mean? She asked, a little suspicious. Don't worry, Mom. You'll understand soon enough, I said, trying not to laugh. Sir, we have a meeting in an hour. The product inspector is coming today, Ballroom informed, almost breathless. What? But I've got to be at the airport in 45 minutes. I looked at my wristwatch dramatically, elbow resting on the desk, tapping the dial with my index finger. Oh, your mother's coming. The Punjabi guy's eyes widened. Ai tavada masla ho gaya si. Ballroom. I narrowed my eyes at him. Meaning very big problem, sir. The inspector wanted to meet you personally. I told him you were available, and he just left. He's on his way here, and you've got a very important event, too. Event? I don't have an event, Ballroom. My mom is arriving, and I told her I'd come. I paused, then decided, all right, I'll send my driver. It's not a big deal. Go alert everyone that the product inspector is coming, and make sure they all show up with their best behavior in the meeting room. But sir, your mother, he asked, hesitating. What about her? I raised a brow. She's coming to India for the first time, and you're going to send the driver to welcome her? So what, Ballroom? We've got a far more important person to welcome today, don't we? But still, she's your mother, sir. You meet the inspector. I'll welcome her myself, sir. Don't worry, he suggested proudly. I stared at him for a moment. Seriously, Ballroom, stop getting emotional. It's not that big of a deal. The driver will help her and drop her home. No, sir. She's coming to India for the first time, and here we welcome guests with respect. We make them feel at home. Remember your first day in India? He said, half grinning. Of course, how could I ever forget? I chuckled, recalling his assistant's endless chatter that evening. See, isn't it unfair to her? He asked, like he'd won the argument. I nodded slowly, secretly laughing to myself. So relax. You attend the meeting. I'll handle everything. Just know, she's in the right hands. He declared proudly and left my office. I leaned back in my chair, exhaled loudly, and shook my head slowly. Welcome to India, Mom. And good luck, I mumbled. Remember your first day in India? He said, half grinning. Of course, how could I ever forget? I chuckled, recalling his assistant's endless chatter that evening. See, isn't it unfair to her? He asked, like he'd won the argument. I nodded slowly, secretly laughing to myself. So relax. You attend the meeting. I'll handle everything. Just know, she's in the right hands. He declared proudly and left my office. I leaned back in my chair, exhaled loudly, and shook my head slowly. Welcome to India, Mom. And good luck, I mumbled.
Author's POV. Ballroom was waiting outside the airport with a name card that read Mr. Jackie Dawson's mother, in bold letters. Jackie had no idea that not only his mother, but also her husband was arriving. He went on to attend his meeting, texting his mother that he would see her at home in the evening. The entire office was bustling when the inspector arrived. Nobody wanted to risk any issue, so all attention was focused on the presentation during the meeting. At the airport, Jacqueline Jones and her husband stepped out. Matt's eyes quickly spotted a short man with a large turban holding a white board that read Mr. Jackie Dawson's mother. I think that's the driver, Matt pointed at Ballroom, while Jacqueline, overwhelmed by the crowd, clutched his arm tighter. Let's go there, please, she requested, clearly uneasy. They made their way toward Ballroom, who noticed them immediately. Oye, faroye! He shouted, hastily throwing the board at the driver and rushing toward Jackie's mother. Oye, Maji, welcome to India Ji, he greeted, palms joined in excitement. Jacqueline jumped back, startled by his sudden movement. Thank you, Mr. Ballroom Singh, assistant come friend come advisor to the CEO himself, very special for Mr. Jackie Dawson. He nodded enthusiastically, then grinned. Your son. Jacqueline didn't quite know what had just happened, so she simply smiled and chuckled nervously. You... Ballroom paused, noticing the man standing beside her. Hello, Mr. Singh. I'm Matt Jones, her husband. Matt extended his hand. Oh, you mean you're Jackie Sir's another father? Ballroom smiled. The unexpected phrase Jackie's father caught both Jacqueline and Matt off guard. Their smiles faded and the mood turned slightly awkward. He didn't tell me you were coming too. That's because he doesn't know. We haven't told him yet. We thought we'd surprise him. Though it seems he didn't come, Jacqueline said, her eyes drifting to the whiteboard the driver now held. Changa ji vadia idea haiji, Ballroom exclaimed. An urgent meeting came up, so I requested him to attend it, he added, noticing her gaze. I forgot to ask your name from Mr. Dawson. I remembered later, but he was already in the meeting, so I just wrote it that way. The couple exchanged a silent glance. Let's not waste time. Please be seated in the car. I will take you to him, Balram said eagerly, settling into the passenger seat once the couple were comfortable in the back. Oji Paji, sir, ne togar drop karne kelie order dia hai, the driver reminded him while driving. Oh, Terry, bat bi sahi hai, abito office main sa buzi hong, Balram murmured. Then, turning to the couple, he translated. Actually, Mother G, Father G, Jackie sir is very busy right now. So we'll drop you at his duplex. He'll come there later. Till then, you can get fresh. You must be tired after the long journey. Exactly. Thank you very much for understanding. Jacqueline smiled politely, though it was clearly forced. She was beginning to get irritated by Balram's rapid-fire speech. He kept blabbering on while the couple, nearly drained by their long journey, looked as if they might fall asleep right there. My pleasure, ma'am. He grinned ear to ear. Oh my God, he doesn't even understand sarcasm. She whispered into her husband's ear. Please stop. He is immune to any kind of sarcasm, and I really don't have any energy left for listening to anyone anymore, he begged his wife. Same here, she agreed. So, this one is the duplex. I will show you inside and introduce you to Jamal. Balram was about to walk towards the door when his phone rang. The loud Punjabi song blaring as his ringtone nearly shattered the couple's eardrums. Han, hello, Surajee, Balram answered. Did you get my mom from the airport? Jackie asked. Yes, sir, and a big surprise, too. Balram wiggled his brows at Matt, who immediately felt embarrassed. What surprise? Jackie frowned. It's a surprise, sir. I can't reveal. He grinned. Seriously, Balram? Jackie huffed and rolled his eyes. Drop her home and come back here. Your presence is required. Okay, sir. I will be there in a few minutes, Balram said before hanging up. Mrs. Jones, I am sorry. I have to go. Jamal will help you with everything. I will see you sometime again. He hurriedly got into the car and told the driver to head to D. Dawson. No problem at all, Mr. Singh. Take all the time you want. We will miss you, but we can manage. Thank you so much for the help, Jacqueline said, waving her hand at the car. Matt giggled, recognizing his wife's tone of irritation. Relax, he's gone, he whispered from behind her. She glared at him and entered the duplex. They were warmly welcomed by Jamal, who served them tasty thandai. They loved it and felt refreshed. After finishing their work, Jackie and Lavanya left the office together in his car. I'm nervous, Jackie admitted while driving. Why? Lavanya asked. Mom is here, and I don't know what or how she will talk to your parents, he confessed. They will have a great time together. Don't worry, she comforted him. I hope so. Jackie looked out of the window, drifting into his past. A past he never wanted to revisit, but confrontations like this always dragged him back into those haunting memories. A day he would never be able to change. It was his graduation day.